Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. And welcome to the show. The Trucker is back. Thank you. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good to be back from this um, long hiatus. Um, on and off just a little bit. A couple of times back in April, actually. You know, I tried really hard to get back on the show after the death of our father back in April. Just sporadically did a couple shows and, really struggled. But I'm back from a 2 week vacation and being up north for a couple of weeks really did me good. It's something that we all need, when summertime rolls around, is to take a summer vacation. And that's exactly what I did. But I want to put a thank you out there to my listeners and my followers and, you know, um, sporadically checking the Truckers Podcast FY out on Podbean of listeners and where they're coming from, around the world and stuff like that. So I just want to say thanks. Um, but I am back, and I said to myself, and I said, "Self, we got to do shows every single evening." And that is my intention, and that is what I intend on doing. But just before, it was probably 3 to 4 weeks before I went on holidays, um, I peruse YouTube and just popped up out of nowhere. So it's been now about 6 weeks. And this has to do with the Freedom Convoy that took place last year. And Dr. Jordan Peterson, who is a clinical psychologist here in Ontario, Canada, and he also is on the Daily Wire. He speaks publicly, and he did a interview with one of the circus participants, and that was with Tamara Lich. So I'm perusing through that video, and I'm just going to discredit Tamara Lynch and Dr. Jordan Peterson. And I feel that I have the expertise to do that because I have been a trucker for 30 plus years. And the bureaucratic bullshit that spews out of her mouth during this video is just mind boggling. And the stupidity and the lack of media illiterate or media illiteracy. So I'm working on that, and I'll let you know exactly when that is ready, because what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be recording the video and doing the Truckers Podcast FYI on Podbean at the same time. So you're going to be listening to that episode on Podbean. I'm going to be recording that video, and then it's going to be up on YouTube. So that's in the works, and I hopefully within a week or 2 weeks, I will have that all done. So, what's been happening? Gosh, all kinds of stuff. Now, of course, with all the struggles and tribulations, surrounding, the high cost of living, the high cost of housing, the high cost of food, high cost of rent, the affordability is just out the roof. Um, the homelessness is been at the highest that it has ever been, for as long as I've been alive. Right now, a little while ago before I went on holidays, there's something like 47 tent encampments around the city of London, Ontario, where I reside. Now, the city of London has been working really hard. The councillors of the city, I mean, I got to hand it to them, for the hard work and the dedications of the social services that are here in the city, working with city council, in order to tackle this homeless problem that we are facing here in the city of London, Ontario. And I think it is the first anywhere, not just here in Ontario, but all across Canada, that a city council has taken this strong as an initiative, um, to tackle the homelessness. Um, so the goal is open, to 12 to 15 low barrier services hubs and 600 highly supportive housing units. And the first 5 hubs in 100 units, they want ready before the end of this year. But an estimated price tag for this strategy hasn't been shared publicly until now. So the municipal document estimated that the capital cost to build and outfit the service hubs and the supportive housing units will total $247.5 million. 15 server hubs for $30 million. 580 supportive housing units in 29 new buildings for $217 million. An annual operating costs are estimated to be about $90 million. 13 service hubs, $32.5 million a year. 580 supportive housing units, $58 million a year. The document added the city has already secured funding to operate 2 hubs, and build and operated 20 housing units. See, there's a family here in the city of London, Ontario, and we should be all grateful for them. They donated $25 million to tackle the homelessness. What a great heart, of this family. They want to remain anonymous, and sure, why not? But I thank them. The city of London thanks them. All the support services that we have here in the city council, everybody thanks this family for that contribution to help tackle the homelessness. Um, throughout, throughout this whole thing to, get together, to pull all the services together in council. That was obviously, a lot of work. And just what, as I said just a minute ago, the city has received a $25 million anonymous donation to help launch the whole of a community response to homelessness. So, our mayor, explained that the costs are being further refined throughout ongoing design work and the recent creation of 40 supportive housing units on Thompson Road here in the city of London. There is another area of the city we call Soho, is where the old Victoria Hospital is, and that project has now been going on for the last couple of years to build a support affordability for people who are homeless and get people off the streets, because housing and affordable housing is a human right. No one should have to endure living on the streets, living in shelters. Nobody should have to. Now, the $250 million capital estimated is $90 million annual operating expense, and it was received by senior governments. He maintained the lobby meetings were positive. It's too bad that things are going to cost 247.5 million dollars, $250 million to tackle the homelessness, and that's just here in the city of London, Ontario. They did nothing. Back in the 80s is when they stopped building housing units for low-income families, low-income individuals. So, just gotta, I guess we just have to swallow this pill, and, hopefully that we can overcome this and get people off the streets and into housing and into the supports that they need to keep them housed, so they're not back out on the street again. Now, there's also been reports of people. Now, the deputy mayor has said and asked other municipalities and other cities to stop sending homeless people to London. This is just updated today. Stop sending your homeless people to London, the deputy mayor says to others. Now, his claim is saying hundreds of homeless people have been shipped from other communities, some against their will or under false pretenses. In the last 6 months, the city's deputy mayor alleges, calling for the practice to stop. The idea that other towns and cities send people here has been a long-running and often repeated rumors in London, right? It has been conjecture and speculative and a rumor over the years, but how we are starting to get some hard data. No, right? So right now, no housing, and we have stretched services. I mean, stretched beyond stretched. Our services, the availability, housing inventory, particularly in the rental market, is effectively zero. And unfortunately, that's a fact. Now, according to the deputy mayor, in the first 6 months of this year, London helped connect 319 people back to where they have had a natural support network after they came to London seeking services. Of those 319 people, more than a quarter were sent to London against their will or under false pretenses by various individuals and organizations from outside of London. Now, obviously, this can't continue because we're struggling to help the homeless that we have. Rural areas, smaller communities, like that can't, you know, help the homeless, send them to bigger metropolitan areas. It's not just London where they'd be sending them to. They'd be sending them to Toronto, they'd be sending them to Kitchener, they'd be sending them to Windsor. And we're well over capacity here in the city in our shelters. We have nowhere to put them. So he wants that practice to stop, um, sending um, other homeless people into our community where we are at the brink. We are way past the brink of no return. So I'm hoping that this initiative, this plan that the city has put together, um, it's going to take time, and it's going to be continuous, and an annual cost of $90 million a year. Other things that are happening when it comes to housing, of course, with the Ontario government, you know, uh, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, wants to build houses on the protected greenbelt areas. So there's lots of controversy going on with that. He wants to build something like 50 million homes. Um, but are they going to be affordable? Probably not. Lily, thank you for entering the Truckers Podcast this evening. I really appreciate that. As you know, and you've been on my show before, um, I have been absent, and that absentees started back in late April, after the passing of our father. And that was a real struggle, emotionally. Um, I did try near the end of April into early May to do a couple episodes. I just, at that point in time, I wasn't ready. And I did a couple ones after that. And I just came back from a 2-week vacation up north. And it is something that I really needed. And so I am back, and that's what the title says. The trucker is back. And I will be doing regular shows from here on in. I started this podcast, I think now, 2019, right? And over 450 episodes I have done, countless hours. And it is something that, being dedicated and doing, so my break, um, my break from doing the podcast is done. And like I said, I will be doing a daily a daily podcast, and it'll be in the evenings, and starting tonight, and of course into Monday evening again at 9 p.m. And I think I did this one for 9:30, but I am going to shoot for 9 p.m. Um, every single evening. So just a little recap about what I was talking about. So, you know, what has been happening um, with the homelessness here in the city, and what the city has been working on. And I think this is the one here. So right now, the city of London is going to be spending. It's going to be a total of $247 million to help um, with the crisis of the homeless. Now, building homeless hubs, getting everything together to help that. So the working budget shows staff salaries on how this hub will work. Will be $1.8 million a year, and the staff will provide. It will be extensive with cooperation across institutions, giving users access to immediate basic needs and stabilization supports. So, food, shower, clothing, case workers for housing help accessing Ontario Works and employment programs, the judicial services, medical staff, including a nurse and counseling physicians, access to acute and primary care, traditional and respite beds, transportation to appointments as required, and yeah. So this is. Really big thing that to spend this kind of money, um, and it's really too bad that you know we wait um, till something becomes a crisis, right? So I see Lily asked me a question here. Did the truckers get their money back? So I'm just wondering, are you referring to the freedom so-called freedom convoy back last year in 2022, if that's what you're referring to? um, During the Federal Emergency Act, or even GoFundMe. Maybe GoFundMe stopped all that money before the Federal Emergency Act was enacted. um, no, um, they did not and will not. There are court cases coming up September, for a couple of the couple of people who organized that so-called Freedom Convoy. There's something like a $340 million class lawsuit against the organizers of that so-called Freedom Convoy. Um, that lawsuit is in the works. So there's still lots of things going on with that. Um, Earlier in the program, when I started the show, about I think it was 5 weeks ago, uh, I was just perusing YouTube, and I came across a video that was actually done about 5 weeks ago. Jordan Peterson, he is a clinical psychologist. He's written some books. He's a public speaker. He's on the Daily Wire. He did an interview with one of the organizers, and you can watch this interview, and I'm going to tell you. Let me go to it, and I'll find it for you. I'll tell you the title of it. And where did it go here? Is that the one that I want? It should be the one I want. Where is it here? Oh, here. So it is called, don't want to do that. So the video on YouTube is called Truckers on the Front Lines of Freedom. That's what it's called. Episode 369. This is Jordan Peterson doing this interview with one of the organizers. So I went through this thing. So it was a month ago, maybe just a little month ago, 5 weeks ago. So I listened to this video, and listened to what she had to say and what Jordan Peterson had to say and stuff like that. And I've been a trucker for 30 plus years. And I can go through this whole video, and there are claims that, some of the claims that she's making, I can basically say how false it is, and back up my claim of being a trucker. So I'm putting together a video, and what my plan is once I get all that information that I want and I set up for the video, I am going to be recording the video and doing the show at the same time on Podbean. And then that video, I will upload it to YouTube. And I'll let you know when everything is ready to go, because the video and the show is going to go on at the same time. So a couple things, one big project in the works. So, but I did want to just, get back out here and do what I like to do, and have, company with my listeners and my followers, because I'm sure you've obviously, saying, where the hell is Trucker? Well, I'm here and I'm back. And like I say, there's going to be an episode every single evening at 9 p.m. So I want to do a lot of shows, talk about a lot of things. And of course, you, the listeners, and you on my show, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 call-ins that people have, that you, the listeners, have availability to click on that circle and call in and talk to me. Lots of things to discuss. Sometimes, I say to myself, I kind of want to stay away from the political part of things and stuff like that. But you can't. You can't stay away from it because it's in the news every single day. Whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's the wildfires, whether it's about the people who are involved in this so-called freedom convoy, and everything else that's going on in the world with the heat waves that has been stretched across the United States, for all the month of July and probably now into August, you know, the wildfires here in Canada, all the wildfire smoke that was blowing down into the United States from Canada. So many things have been happening. Here we've had a lot of rain right here in Ontario. And BC, out in British Columbia and Alberta, the wildfires are still burning. Some parts of Quebec wildfires are still burning. The Canadian military, have now jumped in to assist with fighting the wildfires that are going on across Canada. It's just unprecedented how many fires. There was something back, mid July or something like that. There was nearly 500 forest fires going here across Canada, and you're wondering where all the rain is. Well, we've had a lot of rain here in Ontario. My 2 week vacation up north, it rained a lot. Yeah, we did get some breaks throughout the day, and then booming thunderstorms overnight and into early hours of the morning. Then it would settle down, or up at the cottages. And then, the grandkids and everything would be able to go for a little bit of a swim and stuff like that. We actually, one day, I think it was the Wednesday, not this past week, but not this past Wednesday, but the other Wednesday, we were at the cottages. We had hail. And then this past week, three of us, myself, my brother, and his buddy, went to another location up north for a week in his trailer. And it rained. So, it would rain overnight. It would rain a little bit in the morning, but we were still able to get on the lake, get our rain suits on, get in the boat, go on the lake, do some fishing. Wednesday was a really nice day, and Friday was a really nice day with sunny skies. So the 2 days out of this past, those are the only 2 sunny days that we had. So, last year when I took summer vacation, it was sunshine right through, but not this year. But despite everything, it was a good vacation, and I'm glad I went. It did me a world of good. So, like I said, this video on YouTube, you just go on YouTube, search Truckers on the Front Lines of Freedom. That's the video, Jordan B. Peterson. And you can listen to that whole video. And that is the one that I am going to be doing a video on. And dismantling her claims. So I'm slowly working on that, and now that I'm back, and I'll be getting more into that. So it takes a little bit of time to go through the points that I want to make, and then when I'm ready to do that video, like I said, it's going to be the Truckers Podcast, FYI, on Podbean, and recording that video at the same time. And then when that's done, it'll be uploaded on YouTube. So, you'll be able to see me. So I hope everybody, I thought summertime is summer vacation. I mean, summer's not over until like September the 20th or 21st. So, we still got, 5 more weeks of summer, but only a couple more weeks of the summer break for university, college, public schools, and everything to go back into school. September the 5th, actually, would be the first day. Will be the first day of school. Of course, universities, they go in a little earlier. People start coming back to go to university and college and that. So this is what people are doing right now. People are back to school shopping. I don't think kids are too thrilled about that, but parents must be really happy. So it was a pleasure for me. It was a lot of fun for me up north with the grandkids and that. So that was a real blast. But like I said, I'm going to be doing a show every single evening. And if it's just, just shooting the breeze with you, about anything. It doesn't have to just be about one certain thing. A bunch of stuff. Like I said, you can call in and talk to me. Talk about what's on your mind. Talk about how you see things. I'm all ears. Really, I am. I'm a very open person. Easy to talk to, easy to get along with. So, being my first show back for like this, this period of time of, how time flies. Only getting a couple shows in late April into May, then the rest of May, June. I would have to go back into Poppy and see when the last episode was. I'm not really sure. I didn't even look at that, but let's say the whole month of July. And here we are, the 13th of August. So I took one extra day off, so I am off tomorrow. I have some other things I have to do. And well rested, I'll tell you. That's for sure. People, when you come home from vacation, you just like put down all your bags and you flop out the couch and you're tired. For me, it's the opposite. I'm well rested. That vacation did me a world of good. It really did. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have you on my show. And hope you keep coming back because I'm going to be out here. Now, yeah, I don't know. I want to come out here and just say a few things and let you know, my listeners and my followers. You maybe thought that, I wasn't doing the Truckers Podcast FYI anymore and stuff like that. That's not the case. So, I mean, before this high heat, this high heat, this break, I was doing shows all the time. So, Mostly there were just weekend shows, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. Um, but I'm game, and it's going to be every single evening. And it's not hard to find something to talk about. It really isn't. So, and that's what I want to do. And I'm going to stick to my guns and to show my listeners and followers how much I appreciate them and how I'm dedicated in doing this. So, but for now, being my first show back out, um, I'm going to call it a night. And I thank you so very much for coming out and joining me. And I will hopefully see you and others tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And I'm going to have that as soon as I'm done this episode and get it up on Podbean. And then it'll be scheduled. I'll schedule a show for tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So if you're following, you'll get that notification that the trucker is going to be out here. And hopefully you can join me. So until tomorrow night at 9 p.m., have yourself a great evening and a happy Monday and a happy week. And hopefully we can get together and do an episode. Ontario, Canada. Take care, be safe, and thank you.